So here is how to prepare for the Fed minutes today. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and in about 2.5 hours, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve will be meeting for the Fed minutes. For those that are unaware of what the Fed minutes are, it's pretty much just for us to get a closer look on what led to those 0.75% interest rate hike. And with that being said, I thought it would be at least useful for some of our beginner traders or some that are newer to the stock market to kind of have some pointers to look out for. Friendly reminder, I will be live streaming this Fed talk or the Fed minutes on my YouTube channel. It is going to be for free. All you literally have to do is drop a thumbs up on this video and make sure that you subscribe, turn on your post notifications so YouTube will alert you when it is that I go live. And again, that's in about 2.5 hours. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. And TQQQ, I mean, the overall NASDAQ market is borderline break even. What this reminds me of is kind of like the last CPI data report. When the last time the CPI data report was about to come out, the market traded sideways for about 3 days, not really choosing a direction. Yes, we're in the green, but we're not really in the green a significant amount that, if something is said during this Fed minutes, the market can tank. And this is why, for at least our Learn Plan Profit traders, during today's live trading session, we reminded them that if the past 6 months have taught us anything, is that the market is still bearish, right? We can't be super certain that this time it's going to be different. Although I do want the market to recover, we need to look out for our downside risk. So with that being said, you shouldn't be scared to be invested in a position, but just make sure that you are aware that the market can drop. And if you cannot tolerate a pullback, then I wouldn't be hoping for the market to push up, right? You're just putting yourself in a very unfortunate position. With that being said, I thought that we could break down some of the things that actually were already, some of the reports that were already shared today. So we got the mortgage application index. This one was released about 2.5 hours before the market actually opened. This one ended negative 5.4%. The one that had the biggest impact, in my opinion, when the market reacted right away, this was actually during our live trading session. It was 30 minutes after the market opened, and this is the ISM report. The ISM report came out actually in the green at 55.3%. And again, we have the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. today. So what are 3 things to look out for today's Fed minutes? And there goes, the market is going into the red. Not surprised. But let's go ahead and talk about that. So one of the first things that I would really encourage you to take into consideration is this last hike that we experience is the most aggressive hike since 1994, right? So it was 0.75%. Traditionally, it's normally 0.25%. So this is 3x of what it normally is. And with that being said, the reason that these Fed minutes are super important is for guidance purposes. Is this 0.75% interest rate hike something that they plan to do month over month? If so, that can cause the market to drop, right? Taking a more aggressive approach than what was anticipated. Or was that a one and done? Was it just something to make sure that they take inflation head on and then they will decide to cut back, right? At that point, then it kind of brings up the question, has inflation peaked, right? And this brings us to that second part, guidance on inflation. And what is the Fed's interpretation of this? Has inflation peaked? Are they going to take a less aggressive approach? And what do they see happening with the changes that they've already implemented by raising interest rates? And the last thing is growth concerns. One of the biggest concerns when raising interest rates is you make it more expensive to borrow money, to collect debt. And this really stunts growth. This is where the concern of going into a recession comes from. Because if you stunt growth, people will be scared to spend money. Then they tend to spend less. And by spending less, again, these are the factors that can actually cause us to go into a recession. So I want to see how not only Jerome Powell, but the Federal Reserve really talk about their growth concerns. I've heard it many times before where his biggest focus is really just tackling inflation head on. And yes, this could put us into a short-term recession. But he thinks that we have a very strong labor market that it wouldn't really be too difficult to get out of if we do go into a slight recession. So again, what we're looking for is guidance on three things: interest rates, inflation, and overall growth concerns. So please make sure that when you are paying attention to today's live stream, you try to look out for those major points. If he says anything that he hasn't said before of, maybe this recession that we do go into could be more aggressive than what we originally anticipated, that wouldn't be something good for him to say. It could send the market to drop, right? Vice versa. If he says that, no, they've already seen inflation peak, they already expect it to have peaked, him saying that can cause the market to react in a very positive way. So again, what we are looking for are guidance in those three pillars: growth, inflation, and interest rates. So I'm very excited to follow up and live stream. And again, it's in about 2.5 hours. So I'm going to catch up on my messages. If you guys have any questions, especially as an absolute beginner, I don't care if you've never traded before. I don't care if this is the first video you've ever watched. Send me a message right now via Discord. It's free. And I would love to answer any questions you might have about just getting started. With that being said, also, I do trade live every morning. You heard me talk about them. It's my Learn Plan Profit group, and they're the only group that I work with on a closer basis. If you want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow at market open, then I encourage you to take 2 minutes, click that second link down below, and learn a little bit more about our Learn Plan Profit group and to see if it's a good fit for you. I'll see you in today's live stream. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.